So last weekend we were at a World War II reenactment, and really looking at all the period stuff really got me back into milsurps. And today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite milsurp rifles. As the 1920s developed, the Swiss wanted something that was going to be as short as their K11 carbine, but as accurate as their 1911 rifle. That's where the Swiss K31 comes into play. Some people mistakenly refer to the K31 or Carabiner 31 as the Schmidt-Rubin K31. It's technically incorrect. While Schmidt did design the original straight pull rifles, such as the model 1889, this rifle, other than the straight pull action, bears little resemblance to the original design. Before Lieutenant Colonel Rubin died in 1920, he designed a round, the 7.5 by 55 Swiss. This is what that round was initially chambered for rifles such as the K11 and the 1911 Swiss rifles. Just after that, before he did pass, he designed an upgraded cartridge thanks to the increases in technology and metallurgy of the GP11 round. The GP11 round is chambered, a designation is hotter than the original 7.5 by 55. This Swiss K31 is chambered, in fact, for that hotter round, the GP11. Some amazing design and technology went into both the GP11 round and the K31 rifle. Here we've got the 7.5 by 55 Swiss GP11 here, and the 7.62 by 51 millimeter NATO round here. Now this NATO round was developed over 3 decades after this GP11 round. The interesting thing about it is the advances that made this possible were groundbreaking for its day. This is one of the first rounds to incorporate the advances that they made both in metallurgy and in bolt technology that allowed a round this hot to be fired at such an early date in firearms history. Unlike the previous style Schmidt-Rubin straight pull action, this new carbine uses some different technology. First, they've shortened the overall length of the bolt, and the locking lugs are actually moved forward so it locks up with the sturdier part of the receiver, offering a great advantage in the strength and durability of the rifle. Also, by shortening up the length of the bolt, they've lengthened the sight radius, so you get something more standard to a normal rifle sight radius length, as opposed to the traditional carbine length, where normally the sight radius is shorter. In addition to that, because of the length of travel and pull of the bolt and it being shortened overall in the receiver, the trigger pull is when the trigger engages, the hammer actually has about half the distance to fire as earlier Schmidt-Rubin rifles. And that translates into less time and less error from the shooter to be able to get that round to discharge in between pulling the trigger and there actually being the firing pin impacting the primer. Of all the technological advances with this rifle, it made this rifle more accurate and shorter than the 1911 rifle that preceded it, as well as making it more accurate and the same length as the K11 heavy-barreled carbine that this was designed to replace. In addition to that, the new advances in technology, the shorter bolt, and the new locking lug design made this rifle, at the time, approximately 12 Swiss francs less to produce than the rifles it was replacing. It may not seem like a lot, but at the time I believe it was estimated to be about 145 Swiss francs for this rifle, as opposed to its predecessors, which were coming in right about 160, 163 Swiss francs. As I mentioned earlier, this K31 fires from a straight pull bolt. It's also magazine fed. It takes a 6-round detachable box magazine that actually locks open on the last round, meaning that the follower comes up and prevents the bolt from being closed when it's empty. You can also load this magazine via stripper clip from the top of the receiver with the magazine still in it. Now, the straight pull works simply just as it says, straight pull. Just grab from the side, pull straight back, and then push it straight forward. The collar on this actually rotates and does all the work that would normally be involved in a shooter in a typical bolt action, rotating the bolt upward to unlock it, pulling it back, putting it forward, rotating it back down into place to lock it. This design takes care of all of that. The safety on the rifle is like on other similar bolt action rifles from the period. It's back here. To engage the safety, you simply pull it out, turn it a half a turn or quarter of a turn, and then release it forward, and it lowers the firing pin. Take it up to recock it and pull it out into the back. And remove the disassembly of this rifle is pretty straightforward. You remove the magazine, pull the bolt to the rear. On the right hand side, there's a small lever that you depress that allows you to remove the bolt. Disassembly of the bolt from here is fairly straightforward. You take this safety and decocker on the back, pull it, give it about 1/8 of an inch turn into this position. When you do that, this charging handle is going to come right out. It fits right in through there. That'll come out. This rotates right off. It's not threaded, just give it a little bit of a turn to come out. And then from there, you can see your firing pin. To remove the firing pin, you need to pull back just a little bit of tension on this to relieve the spring, and this actually just pulls right off. You can see right there, this will just pull right off. Since we're out in the field, I'm not actually going to pull back on this and remove that. I don't want to risk losing the spring out here. It's pretty muddy and wet, and I don't want to risk losing that spring, so I'm not going to take it off. But that's exactly how you do it. The firing pin comes right off, and that pretty much completes your disassembly of the rifle. To reassemble the bolt and the assembly, pick it up, make sure that you've lined up the bolt, the collar here with this indentation so it lines up good. Put your finger over the end and hold it in place so it won't slip and move around as you insert the rest of the assembly. Put it in, give it a little twist to work it into place. And then we line up both this hole and the rear. I'm going to insert the charging handle, put it there, I'll lock it into place, and lower our handle back into position. That'll restore tension to the spring and to the assembly, and now that's complete. Reinsert it into the rifle. Just stick it back in. It'll automatically depress that release lever in the back, and it's ready to go. So take the safety off so that you can engage the bolt. Stick the magazine, and you're ready to go. Due to some of the springtime rain that we've had a lot of flooding here in the Midwest, so we've lost about 50 yards off of our normal 100-yard range. Here you can see at 50 yards, we're getting just some spectacular grouping from a rifle that was made about 60 years ago, at least the example that we're shooting today. So if you're looking for something that at the moment, I believe it's about the $250 price point. Just a few years ago they were as low as $89 or $99. K31 is something really to look into. You're gonna find a 1 MOA group rifle in almost any of these samples that you're going to find out. The Swiss only made about 550,000 of these rifles over the roughly I think it's 40 years of rifles in service with the Swiss militias. So there's a limited amount of supply of these. If you're going to get one before the prices go up any higher, now's probably a good time to look into picking one up. Older milsurp rifles like these are a great way to kind of relive some older military history. And with the inexpensive some of these milsurp rifles, it's really inexpensive price point to increase your collection and also get, like I said, get some of that history and nostalgia. If you'd like more information about this, you have any questions, please feel free to post them to the YouTube channel. You can also reach us at Facebook. That's www.facebook.com/militaryarms. And if you'd like to see any other reviews of any other sort of milsurp rifles, please drop us a line and let us know. As always, thanks for watching, everybody.